Most of you might already know, but Christians follow the Bible as a religious text to nurture and amplify their beliefs. As a matter of fact, tales of the Bible have motivated people to live extraordinary lives for the longest of time. However, what most people might not understand is how they do not know the whole truth about their religion. While surely nobody can really ever know all the details about their faith, it might stun you to learn that the church might have contributed to the limited knowledge that you have. What if I told you that many books were excluded when the Bible was first compiled and edited for several reasons, either because they were considered heretical or lacked apostolic authorship, among other reasons? One would think that the Book of Enoch would neatly fall under such an umbrella. After all, it's an apocryphal text, which means that its authorship is in doubt. But what if that might not be the reason? What if the Book of Enoch held big secrets as the history of mankind? In today's video, we're going to leaf through the pages of this ancient text and reveal exactly what the church didn't want you to know about the Book of Enoch. Some of us here might not even know of the Book of Enoch, the ancient texts written after one of the scripture's most notable characters, Enoch. This can be considered to be a bit strange because he's referred to several times in the Bible. For example, in the book of Genesis, Enoch is acknowledged as the seventh of the 10 antediluvian patriarchs, which referred to the 10 male ancestral figures of the Hebrew and Christian faith between Adam and Abraham. In fact, not only is Enoch the seventh direct descendant of Adam through his third son Seth, he's also the father of Methuselah, the oldest man to have ever lived after he died at the age of 969, and the great-grandfather of Noah, the last of the antediluvian patriarchs that we all know and love, due to his righteous role in the preservation of the human race along with all life as we know it. Apart from having such a hallowed genealogy that could even be linked to Jesus Christ, Enoch was not just about his lineage. He was also known for his good works on earth and in heaven, as he acted not only as a scribe and a prophet, but also as an intermediary between both the earthly and heavenly planes. So what could have been so scandalous or so controversial about the Book of Enoch that it's never even been included as part of the scriptures? Sure, as we alluded to earlier, there are doubts as to its authorship, but many books of the Bible fall under the same umbrella. Even Genesis, the first book of the Bible, which is also referred to as the first book of Moses, along with other books like Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy, whose authorship has traditionally been accredited to the prophet Moses, has doubts as to its authentic authorship because most scholars today believe it was written by unknowns during the 6th and 5th centuries BC, and as such, that could not be the only reason. This may point us to take a look at the contents of these apocryphal texts. Funny enough, we already know a bit about the stories in the Book of Enoch due to the story of his great-grandson Noah. However, many are unaware about the events that led up to the cataclysmic events that Noah and his family had to go through in order to continue the human race. The Bible mentions how dark and godless the days of Noah were, but they may not know exactly what brought about these chaotic days. For those details that have been excluded from general knowledge by the church, you must look to the Book of Enoch. There, you'll discover the truth. Within the pages of these ancient texts, you'll learn about these events that we allude to. We learn about how, after the expulsion of Adam and Eve from the Garden of Eden, mankind eventually found its feet, and to God, this was good. In fact, he was so pleased he assigned a host of 200 angels led by one named Samyaza to monitor humanity as they continued to progress on Earth. The only thing they were instructed not to do was to interfere or mingle with the humans despite what they may have witnessed. However, as time went on, the angels seemed to have developed other plans for themselves. What happened was these angels happened to realize how beautiful these earthly women were as they carried on with their lives. The Watchers considered these angels to be so beautiful, they decided among themselves to take some of these earthly women on their own. Samyaza was very reluctant to go ahead with this, especially when he knew that he and only he would face the wrath of God alone. Only after the other 199 swore to go down with him did they finally descend from Mount Hermon, which was called so because that was where they had bound themselves together in the face of God's wrath. Following this, they didn't hesitate to take the daughters of man for their own, and unfortunately, this had terrible consequences to all on earth, including the angels, in the long run. The blasphemous union between angels and humans was a disaster. Following their copulation, the women gave birth to savagely violent giants referred to as Nephilim. These monsters were unhinged, destroying and consuming everything they could, be it livestock, birds, fish, and even lizards. When all these were gone, they turned to their human relatives and consumed them in order to satisfy their uncontrollable cravings. Once humans became scarce to come by, they turned on themselves. As dire as this sounds, this was just one part of these unholy days. The angels, upon landing, not only corrupted the humans physically, but watchers like Azazel did so mentally, introducing things like witchcraft, sorcery, and vanity due to the creation of face paints and jewelry, astronomy, and warfare. As you can imagine, the world was in turmoil, and those who were left well enough to weep cried out to the Lord. Once the cries reached God, he swung to action. He charged his archangels to begin the process of wiping the earth clean. He instructed Uriel to find Noah to shield him from the events of the world and inform him about the apocalyptic flood that would wash away the evil that has permeated into the world. He then instructed Raphael to bind Azazel, one of the angels that seemed to take pleasure in corrupting mankind, and cast him into the darkness that is the desert called Dudael, a wretched realm where he would spend the rest of eternity. Some believe that he's still there to this day. Following this, God instructed Gabriel to destroy the Nephilim by turning them against each other until they're no more. And finally, he instructed Michael to inform Samyaza that all the Watchers and their children are damned for eternity and will be slain for over 70 generations. After the death of their offspring, be it their angelic sons or the monstrous Nephilim, they'll be locked away within the fiery lower depths of hell, where they will be locked away for eternity. Such is the most infamous account that can be found in the Book of Enoch. Some have said that these tales could have been the main reason for the exclusion of the Book of Enoch, as some may have considered these accounts to be heretical or blasphemous in nature. After all, learning that angels had the free will to contradict the instructions of God may not only be seen as something that goes against the very nature of angels, but it also contradicts the power that God has over some of his loyal creations. Nonetheless, the Bible and the leaders of the Christian faith saw it fit to hide these secrets from most of their people. One day, maybe this story as to what could have led to the Great Flood will be included in the scripture and add more context to not only the history of the Christian faith, but the nature of God and his creations. Till then, we can only wonder what else the church has hidden from the Christians. Hopefully, it'll all come to light. Well, that's all for today's video. Be sure to like and subscribe so you can be notified about our next videos. Trust me, you don't want to miss any of that.